What's up, Gina girl? What's going on, Gina girl? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, can we give flowers to the host because she looks so fabulous and so mighty and so wonderful? I mean, come on, you're giving. The skin is giving, the hair is giving, the jewelry is giving, the smile is giving. It's giving all that it needs to give.
I had to switch it up. I was in disguise over the weekend. But
That
let's
is,
get it started, friend. Tell the people your name and your pronouns.
my name is Danyol Jaye. My pronouns are he, him, and fabulous. No, but I'm a he, him, his. You know, I do answer to the colloquial she, her. You know, for those who have the permission within community guideline standards, you know, but for the people that are on the outskirts, they he him at all times. and
Okay.
if you are unsure, please make sure you ask, and I will correct you with kindness and compassion. But if you get rude, I'll have to smack you.
Okay, honey. And tell the people where you're located, friend.
I am in Los Angeles, California.
You in LA,
Born,
friend?
yes, born and raised in Los Angeles.
I
What
didn't.
up with me?
I knew you were on the West Coast, but I didn't realize that you were in LA. And what is your zodiac or your birthday for the people?
My birthday is April 25th, which makes me a Taurus. I am a Capricorn rising and a Cancer moon.
Okay, work. We get along for reasons.
That's like my sis, Miss Harry, honey. Yeah.
Yeah. And how do you identify as far as sexual orientation?
Gay as fuck.
And what do you do, friend, out in LA?
I do. So many people know me for my social media work. So I am an online personality, but I am also a singer and an actor, especially as well as a writer. I do write quite often. In my day work, I work in HIV prevention and basically public health, but specifically helping and servicing Black and Brown communities of the LGBTQIA plus influence and identification. So I work in a sexual health clinic called Out Here Sexual Health Services, and I
Hmm.
work the front desk of that clinic. So I just started doing that in February of this year. Prior to that, I was working in HIV prevention work.
Why would you say that you're single, friend?
Well, so I was only single until about maybe a week ago. So I'm actually in. so I I'm in an exclusive situation currently. We are exclusively dating. We made that decision about a week and a half or so ago. We had been dating and talking for about 2 months. And we had the conversation and it felt like the right decision to make, given where we are. So we're not in a relationship. We're not doing any kind of like, this is my boyfriend, that's my boyfriend type of thing. I definitely have not put him on my social media because, you know, bitches is savage. And he doesn't like the spotlight like that. So that's fine. I love the spotlight. Keep it on me. That's perfect. But prior to me meeting him and making that decision, I was definitely single by choice. I was still dating. I was out, you know, doing my thing. I was definitely sexually active, but I was single by choice because this is gonna sound so bitchy, but it's so true. I knew what I was worth and I wasn't going to change that for anybody. And so for people who felt like I was too much, I felt like they were too little. For people who felt like you know, it was very much giving like, well, go find less because that's not me. And so I think one of the issues that I had with being single or just the idea of singleness is that people always assume you're single because you can't find a partner or because you are undateable. And it's like, no, some of you motherfuckers are undateable and I don't want to deal with you on a day-to-day basis. I don't want to deal with you in the forever space. And then understanding that most people are not set up for monogamy. You know, some people are very much set up for polyamory. They don't know that yet, which is why they have so many fucking issues and insecurities. So it's like, woo. But I was definitely single by choice because it was like, look, I knew what it felt like. I had a boyfriend back when I was in high school. He passed away when I was 18. And even though our relationship had our ups and downs, he was the first relationship that I had that taught me how what it meant to be accepted for being fully who you are. The way he protected me, the way that he took care of me and my safety and in the consideration of me, the way that he considered my body during sexual exploration. Like he showed me what it is to be loved in full.
Mm.
And after him going, having different types of relationships, saying yes to things I shouldn't have said yes to, I had to go back and remember who he was to me. And when I took that time to really remember who he was to me, I had to ask myself, well, Daniel, this man loves you in a very specific way, and in 100% wholeness. Why are you allowing yourself to not be loved that way by these other people? And
Mm.
so I was like, until I find that again, I'm gonna be single.
So, how long have you been single?
I have been single officially since 2018. Prior to that, I was single since 2012. So between 2012 and 2018, I was single. In 2017, I met a guy and started dating him for 8 months, and I broke up with him in 2018. And then from 2018 till now, I've been single.
Have you noticed in your dating, have you noticed there being a constant issue with the people you dated, or have you broken up with various people for completely different reasons?
I've definitely broken up with people, and for different reasons. I've never been broken up with necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I have found a common theme in a lot of the men that I've dated in my life. And a lot of the theme has to do with confidence and value, um, and fetish. So because I am feminine presenting, in all that I do, and I'm very much more feminine presenting now than I used to be in years past, but I was still always very feminine in my demeanor.
Mm-hmm.
There was an attraction to that. There was an attraction to the way that I support, the way that I nurture, the way that I love, and the way that I give. And so there used to be a theme where men would be attracted to that, but very uncomfortable with having that in public
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because of like, oh, well, I've never done this. I don't know what this means. And it just brought up a lot of questions for them where I was like, okay, but I'm not there. Like I'm not in this space anymore. Like I know who I am. I don't have these questions. And so I don't want to have to go with you through your journey. Like that's not my problem. It's not my baggage. That's not where I am. I'm not obligated to walk with you in your discovery. On TikTok, I'm in the middle of a TikTok debate that is ongoing regarding masculine men and the toxicity that they imbue towards femmes, or feminine identified people. But openly gay men are still men at the end of the day, and there is a lot of trauma. There's a lot of misogyny and patriarchy that still lives in men, regardless of their race, regardless of their orientation. They are men. And
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times, as I always say on my platform, my advocacy starts and ends in Black and Brown LGBTQIA plus spaces, because that is the community. Those three things are the communities that I represent as someone who is Black and Mexican and queer. And
Mm-hmm.
so Black men oftentimes are taught to focus on their Blackness and the marginalized oppression of their Blackness.
Mm.
And it blinds them to the fact that they still have a privilege being a man. And so when they go through their journey of coming out as a gay Black man, they have to overcome the the oppression of like that queerness part, and they have to overcome that oppression of the questioning of their manhood.
Mm.
The Black part doesn't really matter anymore, because in the Black community, you looking at your own who's oppressing you, right?
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
so the part about your identity that you've been taught to focus on as, oh, this is my oppression, well, that no longer exists in Black space when you're a gay Black man. Now we're looking at the queerness, and we're looking at the fact that you are a man. My manhood is being questioned. I am gay. So the thing that I'm going to defend, the thing that I'm going to refortify, is my manhood. And the only way Black men know how to do that is by being more domineering, more seemingly what they interpret as masculine, and being the epitome of presentation that they think manhood is. And so anything counter to that they come across, that's an offense and an attack on this manhood that they've had to defend.
But do you think that you're ready for love?
Absolutely. I think that, to be honest, and this is just my fairy tale belief, I think most of us are ready for love. Most of us are not ready to be loved.
Mm,
And that is something that I have. That's a place that I had been in for a very long time. I was ready to give to a man. I was ready to stand by his side and support him and love on him and give him this good God 3000 and give him this premium platinum pussy. I was ready to do all the things. Um, but I wasn't necessarily in a space where I was ready to receive that from someone who genuinely wanted it to give it to me and genuinely didn't necessarily want anything back as a transaction.
mm,
And so I think a lot of us don't struggle with whether or not we're ready to love. I think that we struggle with, are we ready to be loved, because we don't know what that looks like. We don't have a reference for what that is. The longest relationship that I've been in was with my ex Michael, who passed away. We were together on and off for about 3 years.
okay.
And so, I mean, honestly, had he not passed, we'd probably still be together here with kids.
What would you consider your strengths?
As a person or in the dating space?
You tell me.
I definitely think that my strength as a person is my willingness and readiness to learn. I am enamored by what I don't know.
Mm,
I want to know. I want to learn. I want to have the information. I want to be able to use that information. Um, Shout out to my mother because she was forever making me do a fucking book report. So I'll attribute that to her. But I think that is the biggest strength that I have. And it flows in so many different areas of my life, into my compassion, into my heart space, my mind space, my spiritual space. Because again, it makes me want to know, it makes me want to learn, it makes me want to be a student. So even in a relationship or even in a dating space, I want to know your story. I want to know what makes you tick. I want to know, what do you like, what do you don't like. What scares you, what empowers you.
mm.
So that is what I would say is my biggest strength.
What about weaknesses?
My biggest weakness is my attachment. And what I mean by that is, because I have gone so much of my life with so much lack, I used to attach to people way too quickly, um, simply because I wanted someone to be there. Because my biggest fear has always been to be alone. Like, to die alone, to be by myself, and not have community or not have someone to share life with is a
Mm.
really huge fear for me. And so sometimes in the past, that fear has caused me to attach to people that I shouldn't have attached to, and or attach to people at a time that I shouldn't have attached to them.
Describe your ideal partner for me.
Oh, that's easy. I have 6 non-negotiables, and my partner has all 6 of these: healthy and effective communication, safety, security, uh, mutual attraction, um, healthy and effective romance, and goal support. If my partner attributes has all those 6 characteristics, we are in the game. As far as how he look, as far as his weight, as far as his height, his income, I don't give a shit about none of that. If those 6 things are present in my partner, that is the perfect partner for me. In addition to that, I also have a deal breaker where I'm not a top. I'm anatomically built to be somebody's bottom, and so I don't because when you top, that's a different energy. Now, if you want like birthday, Christmas, New Year dick, we can talk about that. But I'm I'm not topping. I'm not topping my man. I'm not just saying that. Part of like the topping aspect is, for me, it is very much about a dominance and a take control. Not to say that a bottom cannot be dominant, because they can, absolutely. But the idea of topping and inserting, come on, kitty cat, and inserting yourself into someone, there's a control factor in that. And because I am so in charge of everything else that deals with Danyol Jaye, when I'm in partnership, it's the one place where I get to take off my cape. It's the one place where I get to be taken care of. It's the one place where I don't have to be in control and I can submit. So to give that up in a sexual space with my partner, it puts me in a mindset that I don't want to be in.
Not during that time, anyway.
Not during that time.
Would you say that you tend to be an overall more submissive personality in relationship?
In a relationship, yes.
Okay.
I'm definitely more submissive. If you ask the dude that I'm dating now, he will tell you that I'm very combative. Uh, but he doesn't. He's still learning what submission means, and submission is not, I never have a voice and I do what you tell me to do. Submission is, I recognize your role in this relationship and I allow you to play that part. But in aspects and situations that affect us both, we need to be in this together, and so that needs to be a conversation. So I am I am the type of person in a relationship where I have never, knock on some type of wood, but I have never emasculated my man in public. I have never called my man outside of his name in an argument. I have never thrown in his face things that he has shared with me in spaces of vulnerability and confidence. I don't believe in doing that. If I want my man to provide for me and to keep me safe and secure, I too have to make sure that I provide him a safe and soft place to be vulnerable and not weaponize that against him when I get mad or when he does something I don't want him to do. So I tend to be more submissive in relationship than I am in other aspects of my life.
Is physical intimacy important to you in relationship?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, Now, the spectrum on how often and how much, that's going to depend on, the partner and the dynamic. Quality time, physical touch are my top two love languages. So I need you to be in my vicinity and I need you to be within arm's length, because I need to touch you, play in your hair, kiss you, hold you, put your arm around me. Now, it's hot right now. The bitch is fat. I got a lot of flesh flaps on this here plus size body. So it may not necessarily be like a 30 to hour minute cuddle, but I definitely need my 5 to 10 to 15 minutes. And so when it comes to intimacy, I mean, it absolutely is a part of my relational dynamic. Now, for people who are asexual and don't give a fuck, hey, more power to you. But that is not my witness or my testimony. I am definitely a monogamous person. I believe in ethical monogamy. However, because of the circles that I've put myself in, and because of the student seat that I've taken in other communities, I am open to and understand more of what it means to be ethically non monogamous.
Mm-hmm.
So if me and my partner ever had a dynamic where there was something in our relationship that he wasn't getting from me, I wouldn't be opposed to having the conversation about whether or not he needed to find that portion somewhere else with someone else. Now, would there be parameters around that? Would there be borders around that we would have to discuss? Absolutely. But I don't have that fantastical idea of being someone's everything. I think it's exhausting. But I definitely, for me, function better in monogamy.
Do you have any income requirements for a partner?
Do your part and let's build this shit together.
How do you feel about kids and marriage?
I want them and I look forward to mine.
Night in or night out?
Ooh, that's case by case situation. Because if it's a dynamic where he's constantly working or I'm constantly working and we're always out doing something, a night in is going to be perfect. But if it's been a while since me and him have seen the city lights together, then a night out is required.
Understood. Are you willing to relocate for love, or does the person have to come to LA?
I will never relocate for a man. That is just my rule. Um, Relocating for love, I think, is a wonderful idea. But I also like for people to consider what the reality of that is. Am I comfortable leaving my support network, my stomping ground, to go to his home court advantage where he has a support network and I don't? Because the
Mm.
reality is, if things don't work out, I'm left in a city with nothing. I don't have friends there. I don't have family there. I may not have a job. I definitely don't have my own place because I moved in with your ass. Like, so that doing that for me is a no-no. Now, if we are deciding together that we both want to leave our cities and move somewhere new together and build from there, that I am open to.
Okay.
But I will never require a man to come to me. That has to be his decision. If he wants to come to Los Angeles and build a life here in Los Angeles, that's great. He won't be moving in with me. We would have to look, either you gonna look for your own place and we gonna have our own place in the same city, or we need to look for a place together.
What makes you a great partner?
Everything about me. And I mean that in the fullness and most sincere way possible. Um, I am a whole individual. And when I walk into a relationship, I walk into that relationship a whole individual. And so all the parts of me for the person that I am meant for is going to be what makes me the right partner for you. And that includes my faults. That includes the things that irritate you and get on your nerves. But it includes all of the things that you love about me and that desire about me. And I feel the same way in my partner. Everything of who he is what makes me choose to be in this every day. And so I used to tell people, I refuse to leave 10% of me outside to make 50% of you comfortable in a room full of 100 people who don't give a shit about you. Like, the math in that don't math for me. You
Thank
want me to leave a portion of me outside to make you more comfortable in a room full of people who don't give a shit about you. So, no, I'm not going to do that. So, all of me makes me the partner that I am for the right person. You can reach me on all platforms. Well, you can reach me on Instagram and TikTok at official Danyol Jaye official. I am Danyol Jaye on Twitter. You can always go to my website, danyoljaye.com, read some of the blogs that I've written. It's really just an interjet journal that I keep for myself, but you are more than welcome to find me there. But you can find me on TikTok and Instagram at Danyol Jaye official.
you for that.
DanyolJaye official. OFFICIAL.